that three muscles. I mean external, internal, and transverse. These three muscles cover the rectus in a special manner. I would mention you this special manner. Look here. If we have, sorry again at this part, look to, please attention to the arcuate line. Arcuate line is a mark and send you a message that it means below the arcuate line, here this is transverse fascia. Above of the arcuate line, it's a posterior layer of the rectus sheath. What does it mean? It means from this line, all the aponeuros cross the anterior wall of the rectus abdominis. It's clear? No? Look here. For example, if this be the rectus abdominus, okay, and it's covered by aponeuros, all of the muscles like this, we expected when we look anteriorly or posteriorly being the same. Yes? It means it covered completely. But the point is here that at the arcuate line, look here, at the arcuate line, I made a cut and transfer all of them anteriorly. So, when you look anteriorly,
It's covered.
yes, it's completely covered. But posteriorly, you can see the muscle. Okay? But instead of this, if again we remove the anterior wall of the rectus sheath, we reach to this arcuate line. Look to this. This is the arcuate line. It means all the aponeuros cross the anterior wall of the rectus muscle. So you can see this same as arcuate line. As I, again, before I show you when I draw the schematic pictures, figures, I show you that this is the point that below than this, there is a defect. So here you can see arcuate line. It means below the arcuate line, all the aponeuros cross the anterior wall of the rectus. It's clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, look here please, in the transverse section. This is the rectus, for example, this be the left and this one be the right. External oblique, internal oblique, transverse. External oblique, if you have a look here, I'm sure you can understand better. External oblique, internal and transverse again. At the left, at the right. Look to the aponeurotic part. All of them, it's better we starting with the internal oblique. When internal oblique we reach to the lateral side of the rectus is divided to anterior and posterior. Yes? And cover anterior surface and posterior surface of the rectus muscle. The external oblique is cross the anterior wall of the rectus, and the transverse abdominus just past the posterior wall. As I mentioned, the aponeuros of the internal oblique divide into two branches. Anterior one cover the anterior wall, posterior one cover the posterior wall of the rectus muscle. External oblique cross the anterior and transverse cross the posterior wall. So, the rectus sheath, as you can see here, made by all of these three muscles. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if the section goes to the below the arcuate line, what happened? Look here. All of the aponeuros part cross the anterior wall. It means now we are below than the arcuate line. Yes?
Yes.
So, anterior wall of the rectus sheath, answer my question. Anterior wall of the rectus sheath below the arcuate line made by
Three muscles.
aponeuros. Three
Aponeuros.
muscles, aponeuros. Okay. And posteriorly, the sheath made by what? Look and answer.
There is no
Transfer fascia.
Excellent. Transverse fascia. Just we have transverse fascia. Look here. Transfer. This is transverse fascia. This is the arcuate line. So now I would like to know this layer made by which aponeurotic part?
Transverse muscle. Transabdominis muscle. Aponeurosis.
Above the arcuate line. The posterior layer. If you keep your mind this, easily you can answer. The posterior layer of the rectus sheath above the arcuate line made by what?
Transverse and half of the
And the
internal.
posterior layer of the
Internal.
internal oblique aponeurosis. Now, again, below the arcuate line, the rectus sheath, you mentioned me that posteriorly made by transverse fascia. Anteriorly, it made by what?
External.
External.
And the interior part of internal.
Look here. It made by all aponeurotic part for that three muscles. Because below the arcuate line, all of them cross the anterior wall of their rectus. Yes? Now, another question. Above the arcuate line, the anterior wall of the rectus sheath made by
External and internal.
External and
External
internal.
and
Anterior and internal.
anterior part of the internal. Now, who can tell me at the costal margin above, at the costal when rectus abdominis attached to the ribs,
Xiphoid.
the rectus sheath made by which part? In which part? In which part you are speaking about?
About the postal part.
Costal margin, look to the rectus. Look to the rectus abdominis. Rectus abdominis superiorly attached to this costal margin, these ribs, 5, 6, and 7. Okay? Directly attached to this cartilaginous part. There isn't any layer of the sheath. Anteriorly is covered by the
Yes.
fascia that we have that part, but posteriorly directly attached to the costal margin. Okay. Now look here, the nerves that we discussed about them. Here at the xiphoid process and then at the umbilicus, T10 being appear here, 11, 12, and this one is
L1.
L1, ilio hypogastric. And ilioinguinal goes by the spermaticore. I mean, it goes through the inguinal canal. And these are lateral cutaneous. Lateral cutaneous, anterior and posterior. Can you remember the question that I asked you and without attention you passed and no one asked me about the right answer? Which was the right answer? Which one of these three are pure sensor?
The the laterals.
Why?
You said it yesterday.
I
About
answer
that.
your question, you asked me.
You asked the question.
You asked us.
And yes, I asked which one is, but in the quiz, I asked which of that three
Mhm.
is pure sensory. Just the lateral,
Posterior? The posterior one?
just the posterior.
You asked the
Please discuss about this. Why? If you will say posterior, why posterior?
Because when you draw the border,
Yes,
you say the
I mentioned that all of these three branches consist sensory, but some of them has motor nerve, especially posterior one. Posterior one is a mixed nerve. I mean, it has sensory and motor. Posterior branch. Lateral, again,
Only
lateral one is sensory, and the motor one is quite separate from this. So it's pure sensory, and this one again is pure sensory, anterior one. Anterior cutaneous and lateral cutaneous, both of them are pure sensory. Who knows the name of the nerve that innervate the muscles of the intercostal space?
Intercostal nerves.
Have you ever heard collateral branch?
Lateral branch.
Collateral branch is a motor branch.
Motor.
Lateral sensory, collateral supply the motor nerve to the muscle. Okay, but at the superficial fascia, we have a lot of nerve and vessels, okay? These are veins. Look to this vein. This one is thoracoepigastric. Thoracoepigastric. It connects axillary to the femoral. Am I right?
Yes.
It's clear?
Yes.
Thoracoepigastric. Okay? It's connect axillary to it. It's a shunt, a pathway between SVC and IVC, because this one goes and joins to the inferior vena cava, and that one goes and join or make the superior vena cava. By this pathway, the superior cava join to the inferior cava, thoracoepigastric. And of course, this is superior epigastric, inferior epigastric, that both of them joined here. Umbilicus is important. Umbilicus is important because of the nerve that we mentioned before, and as you can see here, two paraumbilical veins connect portal vein to the superficial veins. Who knows about the portal veins? Do you know portal veins?
Yes, we know.
What is the
Near the heart, it's composed of many nerves, veins. It's get together, and it's kind of big one.
We have two systems
Uh-huh.
for the venous plexus. We have two systems for the venous plexus. One of them is what?
Portal.
Portal, and another one is which system? What's the name? Caval system. I mentioned before, IVC,
Mhm.
SVC, inferior vena cava, superior vena cava. We have two systems of the circulation for the venous plexus, portal and cava. Portal, back to the digestive system. I mean, all of the venous plexus from the digestive system, from the esophagus till the end part, back to the general venous plexus by portal vein. How it is possible? Do you know anything about that? At the left side, if this be a vein that drain venous plexus from the spleen, this is the spleen, okay? This vein goes from the left to the right, and at the posterior part of the pancreas neck, joined by a vein that collect venous plexus from the right side of our body. Right side of our body means this part, this part, this part, and this part. A small intestine, secum, appendix, ascending, and transverse colon. Okay? Till a point here, I will mention near future. All of these venous plexus back to the general system by joining these two veins, a splenic vein and superior mesenteric. Superior mesenteric vein joined to splenic vein, where, I told you, where is this junction? Posterior, yes, neck of pancreas. It means, when I say neck of the pancreas, it means pancreas shape is like this. It has head, neck, body, and tail. Head, neck, body, and tail. And pancreas is completely retroperitoneal organ, except the tail. Except the tail. Pancreas, head of pancreas, covered by the three parts of the duodenum. Duodenum is like this, yes? And the head is here. So, the duodenum should be retroperitoneal too, except the first inch of the first part of the duodenum. I told you before that the first part of the duodenum divided into it's 2 inches, yes? The first inch of the first part of duodenum is intraperitoneal. The tail of the pancreas is intraperitoneal too. And the head of the pancreas trapped between these parts of the duodenum and should be retroperitoneal. Why I say it's exactly connect to each other at the back neck of the pancreas? Because if we separate, remove the pancreas from the side that is located, it is difficult to distinguish which part is the neck. But in surgery room or in dissecting room, by this vein, the junction between these two, we can easily determine the neck of the pancreas. This vein is portal, yes. So, portal vein made by two veins, splenic and superior mesenteric. Superior mesenteric vein collect all the venous plexus from the right side of the intestine. Don't forget the junction between the junction between right two-third and left one-third of the transverse column is important because at fetal life, the origin of this part is quite different from the origin of the other parts that being on the right side. Clear?
How did they come in?
This is the junction between right two-third and left one-third. This point is very important because I'm not sure that you can remember, but I mentioned this part to you yesterday. I told you the right side of the all or intestine by this and this get nerve, parasympathetic nerve by the vagus.
Vagus nerve.
But from this point to the end, the parasympathetic prepare by
Stand here.
pelvic sphincter. Is 2, 3, 4. Yes? So this point is important. This point is the junction between midgut and hindgut at fetal life. In the digestive system divide into 3 parts: foregut, midgut, and hindgut. Foregut make the esophagus and stomach and till the middle of the second part of the duodenum. Midgut make this part to the right and left 2/3 and 1/3 of the transverse column. So it's very important. Now, I expected you ask me what happened for the blood, I mean venous plexus, of the left side of our digestive system. I tell you that all the venous plexus for the left side come up and join to the splenic nerve, the splenic vein by inferior mesenteric vein. It's clear? So, superior mesenteric vein by the splenic vein make the portal vein, and inferior mesenteric vein join to the splenic for what? Connecting the left venous plexus to the portal vein, because they finally make the portal vein. So portal vein just collect all the venous plexus from our digestive system, and it's quite separate from the Kava system. Kava system collects all the blood plexus from the except the digestive system. So they should not mix with each other. Portal vein goes up and drain to the liver. For what? Why should the venous plexus from the digestive system first of all reach to the liver? Because liver is a huge source for filtration. It's filtrate all the blood that's come from digestive system and then return back to the general venous plexus from the liver. It's clear?
It's clear.
Yes.
Please review in 2 minutes and then I will follow. Remove the anterior wall. You can check here the roof that made by transverse and internal oblique. And then here you can see the posterior wall. It's very nice picture for showing the parts of the inguinal canal. And then in this picture, we are looking to the posterior wall of the abdomen from the inside, I mean from the abdominal cavity. So this one is Hasselbalch triangle. Hasselbalch triangle. So this one is inferior epigastric artery. As I mentioned you before, it's a border between the direct and indirect herniation. And this one is the deep ring for the inguinal canal. We are looking to the inguinal canal from the inside, from the posterior wall. Here, so this one should be the anterior wall of the canal that we have looked from the posterior. Again, this picture show you the inguinal canal. You can see the spermatocord goes through the deep ring. This is the deep ring, and you can see the roof and anterior wall exactly here, and then the superficial ring will be appear here. And this is the femoral vein and femoral artery. The continuous of this superiorly make the external iliac vein and artery here. Again, you can see the rectus abdominis here. It's point to a herniation that happened here. The small intestine goes to deep ring and appear at the superficial ring. So for reducting these back to the abdomen, return this part to the abdomen, first we should push posteriorly and then laterally, and then posteriorly again it can reach to the inside of the abdomen. I told you by that imaginary line that I introduced you, we can divide the abdomen into these 9 areas that in each part we have organs. For example, if you look here, this is the spleen here, and liver we have at the right hypochondriac, epigastric, and left hypochondriac. This is the umbilical region, left, right, and left flank or iliac. Inguinal right and left, and this one should be hypogastric. Now, when we open the anterior wall of the abdomen directly, we reach to the greater peritoneal cavity. This is the greater peritoneal cavity, and so this is the greater omentum, hang down, as I mentioned you. And if we pull up the greater omentum, then we can check the small intestine. Look, this is the small intestine. And by the greater omentum, the transverse colon come up too. Okay? As I told you at that picture, again, we can see just the any space at the greater cavity below than the, what was this?
Transfer colon.
Transverse. So this space is the infraculic space. Infraculic space. And above of these, the space that we may have, I mean here that we can see the stomach and liver and spleen on the left side, this one is supraculic. So because of the transverse colon, the greater side can be divided into infraculic and supraculic. In supraculic we have this and liver. In infraculic we have the fourth of the small intestine and exactly the large intestine. Any questions?
No.
Okay. To mention in this picture, this is the duodenum, the fourth part of the duodenum. That, as I told you, duodenum is completely except the first inch is what? Retroperitoneum. So it should be retroperitoneum, and the junction between duodenum and the other parts of the small intestine here, this point is the starting for the jejunum. This is the jejunum. And you can see some dead space around the duodenum. On this space, that these are what? Recesses. We say recess. Look here. For example, this one is superior duodenal. Here wrote fossa, but is the recess. Recess means fossa. It may be some parts of our intestine being struggle in this fossa and cause pain for the patient. So the recessus are the dead space that these are potentially, and it may be some parts of the intestine goes through this space and struggle there. Superior duodenal, inferior duodenal, and paraduodenal. So here there are 4 recesses: superior, inferior, and paraduodenal. Can you tell me the superior duodenal opens superiorly or inferiorly? The most of the superior duodenal look down or up? The opening of the superior duodenal looks down or up?
Up.
Down.
How?
Down.
Why you say down?
This is down.
Because we can go through this from the down to up. So the orifice look down. And inferior duodenal look down. You said that one is up, looking down, and this one look up, is located down. Yes? And paraduodenal opens to the right or left, upper or lower. Look to the flash.
To the right.
It looks to the right because the small intestine maybe goes through the right to the left and struggle at these recesses. Superior duodenal, inferior duodenal, paraduodenal. Who knows the name of this vein? Which vein is this?
Inferior mesenteric.
Yes. This is the inferior mesenteric. This is the inferior mesenteric. So, the paraduodenal recess is because of the inferior mesenteric vein. Inferior mesenteric vein under the peritoneum, when the blood goes through this, its cause is being bulging forward, so there will be a potential space on the right side of these course. It's clear?
Yes. Yes.
I'm sure not.
Why?
Because this is the peritoneum, okay? And my hand here show you the direction of the inferior mesenteric. So, because of my hand, we have a bulging here, okay? And on the right side, there is a, here, create a fossa. This is the paraduodenal recess. And some part of the small intestine may be struggle here, okay? So, if it being empty, without blood, it means it's flat, and so we cannot find any recess because of this. Yes? So this recess is because of the blood that going through this vein. If it's being empty, so we have not expected that being any recess here and this, at this point. For the being relaxed and ready for the next section, please answer this question about the inguinal canal, and it can help you have the sample of the question for the final exam. Okay? Who helped me?
شنو العجاز؟
For the new students that attend to the class, please first of all write your name and family, and then don't speak, just you can use your notes and anything that you want, but not speaking, not looking to another paper sheet. And finally, when time is going over, I will inform you.